Thank you for the great introduction. Hey everyone, my name is Beverly. As Mary said, I work at Microsoft. I'm a program manager within the Azure AI services, and I don't know why my slides are not moving on, but I guess I'll just click here again. Okay, perfect. So I'm really excited to be here and show you all the things that we're building within Azure AI, but I think more importantly is how you can be able to use them today. So if we can just look through the history of where AI has come from. About 10 years ago, in a lot of companies, doing AI meant you built a team of data scientists, they trained the model, they cleaned the data, and then you deployed it. And that was something that would take, one, a very long time, but was also very expensive. And so because of that, a lot of big tech companies started to build their own, at the time, relatively large language models. And these were models that could do one thing very well. So say, for example, you have a bunch of documents and you want to digitize them. Instead of having someone do the manual data entry, you could just plug it into, put the documents through an API and get the results in digital form. So PDF, Excel, CSV, whatever you needed. And so this helped a lot of companies cut down the time of operations. Now this is, within Microsoft, we have a suite of products that we call Azure Cognitive Services. And what Azure Cognitive Services are really just specialized models that can do one thing very well. So the one that I want to show you today that I think is very interesting is Azure Video Translator. And what Video Translator does is that it translates your videos from one language to another. The best part is that it's in your voice and it's real time. So I'm going to get out of this presentation slide and go to my Azure instance. And before I get to that, so yesterday I met Mari and we did record this video. It's a very short video of him, I guess, introducing this conference. So I'll play it for a minute.
I'm Murray Eisenwasser. As you can see, we're setting up for the summit. Very excited to have you join us, and we're looking forward to a great day, so enjoy.
All right, so Mari can confirm, you speak English and what other language? Where is he? Is he here? He walked out. Okay, so we're just going to assume that he only speaks in English. I'll show you some magic here. So, and I want to do this real time. Let's see if we can do it real time. So you can see what the process looks like. So right here, I'm in my Azure Speech Studio. I'm going to go to Personal Voice. I will upload the video that I just showed you of Mari. There we go. A bunch of text here, so it's just one speaker. And we're going to have him speak in French, but not just like the France French, the Canadian French, because it also has accents built in. We'll acknowledge some documents and we'll create. And so in a few minutes, hopefully the network is strong, we'll have a translated video from English to French of Murray speaking and introducing us to this conference. As we wait for that to happen, I can show you the Swedish one that we tried out last night. So here it goes.
Jag heter Murray Eisenwasser. Som ni ser håller vi på att förbereda för toppmötet. Väldigt spänd på att ha er med oss och vi ser fram emot en fantastisk dag. Så njut!
Cool. So that just shows... Oh, yeah, we have a Korean one as well. But let's see it. Here we go.
저는 머레이 아이젠워서입니다. 보시다시피 저희는 정상회담 준비 중입니다. 정말 기대됩니다. 여러분이 함께해 주셔서 기쁩니다. 멋진 하루 되세요. 즐기세요.
There you go. Okay, so the French one's still loading. So
I don't speak Swedish or Korean.
There you go. So this is all great, and it helps you do business in countries, places that you possibly would have, but it would be very expensive, right? So one of the ways that we're using this tool within Azure today is within Teams, and this is just being rolled out now. So going to go back to my slides. Within Teams today, there is a capability to converse with people across the globe with different languages in real time, as if language is not a barrier. So in this demo that I'm going to show you, it's a conversation between Marco and Shahab. And Marco speaks exclusively in English. Shahab's going to be speaking in Urdu. And they'll be able to converse. So I'll just play it. And let me know if you can hear it. Okay, so that's not working. Let's try this from here.
All right, Shahab. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go here. Now, you can't see what I'm doing, but I am turning on AI interpretation. I'm going to choose my language, and my language is English. So my AI interpreter is on. And let's just say that I'm a contact center agent for a health insurance company, and you're calling in. So ring, ring. Hello, how can I help you?
जी मुझे आपसे एक सवाल करना है अपने प्लान के बारे में. I have a question about my plan.
Okay, how can I help you with that?
मेरा सवाल ये है कि मेरे पाँव में बहुत ज़्यादा दर्द हो रहा है और मैं चाहता हूँ कि एक अपना एक्सरे करवा लूँ. ये मेरा प्लान कवर कर सकता है? My question is why I am experiencing a lot of pain in my feet and I want to get my own x-ray done. Can my plan cover it?
Yes, in fact, if you have that pain, if you get a valid referral from a doctor, then you can indeed get that x-ray. Your plan does cover it. Is there anything else I can help you with?
तो मैं कौन से डॉक्टर के पास जाऊँ पहले? आप मेरे इसके बारे में मदद कर सकते हैं? So which doctor should I go to first? Can you help me with this?
Yes. So the type of plan that you have, you can go to any doctor that you choose. I would recommend you go to a podiatrist.
All right, so you get the point. This is a real-time conversation, and the translation's being done. The latencies are good. So you can imagine if you're, for example, in supply chain and you need to get products across the globe, now you're able to interact with those people directly, right? And that really helps with the communication barrier. So that's the first demo that I had. So if we think back to, I'd say, three years ago, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and we were all wowed by this tool. I'm curious, how many of you today are using LLMs or ChatGPT in your organizations today? Oh, wow, this is a good number. Love it. Any feedback? Perfect. All right, so apart from saving a lot of time, it is a really great tool. But it does have its shortcomings. Two that I think of in particular today is one, because it's trained on the vast data of the internet. These LLMs can talk about anything. And I think that was the question that was alluded to earlier about hallucination. And then the second problem with them is that their knowledge is just as recent as their training data. So right now in OpenAI, the most stable version is GPT-4o, and the cutoff training data for GPT-4o was October of 2023. So anything post-October 2023, the model really doesn't have good information about, and that's how it ends up hallucinating. And this is usually a problem, and I think this was in the Wall Street Journal 2 weeks ago, whereby people are complaining that it doesn't know enough about golf or mortgages or farming. And if you're, for example, in insurance, in legal, mistakes like this are very expensive. And so this is what's holding a lot of companies back from implementing LLMs within their organizations. So I will show you how we can get around this issue with LLMs, hallucinating, and one, just not having clear information. So right here, this is my instance of GPT-4o, and as you can see, I'm using GPT-4o, which is the most stable version. Like I said, this model was trained with data up to October 23, and I'm gonna ask it something that happened post-October 23, and what I came up with was this new Tesla Cybertruck that just was announced a couple weeks ago, or months ago, no, years ago. So I went to the Tesla website and I found this manual. This is for their Cybertruck, and it includes a bunch of information on. Sorry about that. I'm not connecting to the internet. Okay, it includes a bunch of error codes, what they mean, and how to solve them. So I'll just take one of these, for example, and ask my instance of ChatGPT, what does this error code mean in my truck? Tesla Cybertruck. All right, and we'll see that it tells me that as of my last updates in October 23, detailed information about this error code is generally not available. So think of your driver, you're in this car, it's throwing you this error, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. This is not the response that you're looking for. So what I'm going to do now is I have another instance of ChatGPT, but now I've grounded it with information about this Tesla. So I took this document here, I put it in an Azure index search, and I've connected my LLM now to my Azure search resource. So that's what I've done here. And what I'm going to do now is ask this new instance of GPT the same question and see what it comes up with. So this is now the grounded LLM. All right, there we go. So now it gives me the exact error code and what it means. So this error code indicates that auto steer feature is temporarily unavailable, and this condition can be caused by a couple of factors. This is it. And it references where it's getting this information from in my Azure Search Index. Now, this is more helpful as a user. Another thing that I want to show you, which is cool, particularly if you're using Azure Search, is the fact that now the model becomes language agnostic. So remember, the document that I uploaded to my Azure Search was just in English. But I'm now able to ask it any question about my truck, of course, in a different language. So I have this translated here to Spanish, and I'll copy this to the grounded LLM. And in a few minutes here, I'm hoping it understands the language. There we go. So it still tells me it's an autopilot issue, and an issue with my autopilot and how to fix it, and still references where it's getting the data from. So that's just the benefit of using Azure Search today, is that it makes your LLM language agnostic as well, because one of the things, that's one of the benefits that comes with Azure Search. Another thing that we're working on currently to integrate into this system is adopting the audio version of the model with your data. So right now, in Azure, we just have the audio version separate. And so I can ask it a question here. Hey, what does WP22 error code mean on my Tesla Cybertruck? And as you'll see here, it's going to give me the wrong answer because this is not a grounded version.
I understand your concern. If you have any questions or need information, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to provide accurate and helpful responses. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or explore, just let me know.
What does the error code WP22 mean on my car? Hey, what does the error code WP22 mean on my car?
Error code WP222 on a WISE camera generally indicates a network connectivity issue.
Well, clearly it's hallucinating because we've not really grounded it. But this is something that we're working on, bringing the real-time audio capabilities and grounding of your data. So I'm going to stop there and see if we have any questions at this point.
What subscription is your? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. For the Teams live translation feature, what's the subscription required? The level of subscription required for that?
I think you just need to be a premium user. There's no other.
Teams Premium.
Yeah, Teams Premium, and you'll have access to the feature. Any questions? It's a quiet room today. Say again?
Mais je peux pas français. That one I can actually
Well,
speak.
you can. That's in real time, though.
That was all AI.
Go ahead. Yes.
So, what are your deepfake concerns with all those videos?
The videos of Mari that I shared? Or?
The ones that you guys created, yeah. Or even the situation with that conversation being in real time.
Mhm.
Like, what are there any concerns? Because I would have concerns about, somebody stealing it or getting into that and using this deepfake situation and, potential fraudulent situation, basically.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing two questions. One is stealing your data, and then also the deep fakes.
Yeah, kind of.
So one of the things that Microsoft focuses on a lot is responsible AI. And to that effect, what we're doing is any content that's generated by the model is labeled as such. So say, for example, you use DALL-E 3. DALL-E is the model that generates images, for example. There is fine print. You may not see, it's not visible to the human eye, but the model has to generate something that actually indicates that this has been created by an LLM. And what that helps with is, whenever another system is looking into this content, it can actually tell that this is not human-generated content, this is tagged as LLM-generated content. And so that just helps with disambiguating what's really true versus what's been created with an LLM. And then when it comes to data, stealing your data, one of the things that Azure provides today is something that we call Azure Enterprise Promises. And what that means is that any data that you provide to Azure remains your data. So one, it's not being used to improve the model, and it's only accessible to you. So say, for instance, I remove the documents that I attached to my LLM endpoint and ask the LLM a similar question that I'd asked it earlier about the error codes, it's still not going to be able to answer because now it doesn't have access to my data. And so as a customer, you do get to control who gets access to your data. Yeah. Go ahead. Oh.
We have a question. Is there a mic around?
If not, I can talk
No,
loudly.
no, we won't.
We want to hear your pretty voice.
So my question is, Microsoft has features and functions in place to help with harmful content, etc. With whether it's images or audio.
Mhm.
The challenge is there are other providers out there that don't have those features built in.
Mhm.
How is Microsoft involved in detecting, content, audio and video content created by those other providers, and identifying that as a deep fake? Because not every company out there is as responsible as
Right.
Microsoft.
That's an interesting question, and one that I don't think I know how to answer, because as Microsoft can contain what's generated within the systems, right? And really doesn't have control over what other companies decide to do. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have to check on that.
Right. So I actually have a question. When you're talking to customers, what are some of the top questions? Like, what are they asking you about these future features that you're seeing? Like what, aside from obviously there's a risk involved, some of the questions, like what is it from an implementation perspective? What is it like from a business perspective? What is it that you're hearing from customers?
I think like everyone in this room, one thing that customers are usually asking is, what are you doing about responsible AI? It's a big concern. And I'll say that by default within the service, we do put a lot of moderation. And so one of the things we have is content filtering. And what that does is any query that goes to the model has to first go through a content filter model as well. So there's a smaller model that's sitting in front of the LLM. And what that does is that it looks through and checks, is this content that the user is asking, does it have any violence, things in it? Is it racy? Is it, sexual, that kind of stuff? And if the model detects that kind of harm, that call is blocked. And vice versa. Anything that's coming from the LLM going back to the user also has to go through a content filtering system. And so that's just one of the ways that Microsoft is protecting users to make sure that these models are not talking about racist stuff or sexual stuff or violent things. And I mean, it comes by default, so you don't get the option to opt out.
So really the concern is around safety and security and things like that is what you're hearing.
That's usually a big concern, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all right, well, thank you all. Thank you, Beverly, thank you so much.
There's another question.
Oh, did you have another question?
Is there an option to disable any of that for specific use cases where it's needed?
I've not come across use cases where that's needed, so we don't have the option to disable it. Go ahead.
As far as the filtering on the security, I was thinking about human alignment, like certain areas, countries, governments might have different rules and regulations. So something might be a matter of survival in one country, but it's not permitted to be a response in a different country. So does your model for the security and locking things down or preventing certain responses from coming back, do you tailor that or align it to the different areas of the world?
So yes, there is. So the way the content filter works, this is going a little bit into the weeds, is the user or the model will give a response to a question. It will go to the content filter, and if it's blocked, then that entry is logged somewhere. And there's people that will go and review it and check, was this blocked for the right reason? If yes, then the model is working as expected. If no, then we need to improve the content filtering model so that it can adapt to what is considered harmful in that environment. So it's something that it's mostly automated, but there are opportunities for a human in the loop to improve the model.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Okay, bye.
All right, Beverly, thank you so much. Appreciate it.